What's up, folks? Welcome back to another episode of The Writing Life. I'm your host, John Hartness. I am the founder and publisher of Falstaff books. I'm a fantasy writer, science fiction writer, editor, publisher, podcaster, YouTuber, I don't know, fat redneck on your video screen. Today, I know it's been a couple of weeks since I did one of these. Sorry. Life got in the way. I had to finish a Bubba the Monster Hunter novella. It's called Swamp Music and will be out later this month. That's May. By the way, today is May 4th, 2020. Happy Star Wars Day. And then as soon as I finished the Bubba book, I had to jam out a Shingles novella in about 5 days because it was coming up on May 1st and the book was due. So Snatched, Grandma Annie and the Cooter of Doom was released on May 1st. If you are looking for a bizarre, twisted laugh, go check it out. If you're not familiar with the Shingles series, it's a series of short books written by different members of the Authors and Dragons cast. We release one each month, and they're essentially Goosebumps parodies. Imagine if Goosebumps were written by the people who created Cards Against Humanity. So they're the worst things in the world, basically. They're horrible. We're horrible people for writing them. You're horrible people for reading them. And if you want to feel horrible if you want to laugh and feel bad about laughing, check it out. Grandma Annie and the Cooter of Doom. You can hopefully get to it just by searching Cooter of Doom on Amazon, because I really, really hope I'm the only one to have actually ever used that phrase in a book title. I'm probably not. All right, I'm back because I had to sniff, and that sounds gross on video, but it is... Like I mentioned, it's May, and I live in North Carolina, so allergies are evil. Just assume that my allergies are going to be jacked up for my life, because they are. So if there are bizarre hiccups, I had to cough, fart, sneeze, sniffle, something that you didn't need to hear or see. So today, I want to talk to you about how the money works for a small press or a self-published author. And before that, one of the ways that money works on YouTube is once you hit 1,000 subscribers, and we are quite a ways away from that right now, you can start monetizing videos over 10 minutes in length if you don't swear too much, which is why I've stopped dropping quite so many F-bombs in these videos. So please take a minute to like, share, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notified whenever we have new content. We've got new stuff pretty close to every weekday here on the Falstaff channel. BS from me, book reviews. Yeah, I missed that Friday too. I'm telling you, it's been a couple weeks. We've got awesome author interviews. We've got spotlights of authors reading their own work. And we've got a new feature coming for all of you grammar nerds out there. One of our editors is putting together a new show. So once there's a few episodes of that in the can, we'll get rolling. But for today, I want to talk about how the money works when you self-publish on Amazon. And this is the same for many small presses. This is how the cash flow, this is how the money works for us at Falstaff. Starting with your money is in ebooks. The vast majority of your cash comes from ebook sales. As a self-published and small press author, print is going to be a very small piece of your money. That's because Barnes & Noble and the airport bookstores and Books A Million and Walmart and CVS and Walgreens are not going to stock your book. Ever. They aren't going to stock your book because you, as a small press or self-published author, can't afford to make that book returnable. For me to make a book returnable, I lose several dollars every time a book gets sold. So I have to gamble that fewer than 30% of the books that are sold in print, stocked on shelves in bookstores, will come back to me. Now, for some of our bigger authors who have wider distribution and availability, I can actually make that gamble. I can believe that that may happen. For our smaller authors, like me, that ain't gonna happen. I don't believe that I would have enough sell-through in print to justify making the books returnable. And if the books aren't returnable, bookstores aren't going to stock them. What do I mean when I say a book is returnable? I mean that bookstores don't buy books. They get books on consignment, and they have up to 90 days to sell those books, or they can send them back for full credit. If that's not the stupidest way to run a business you've ever heard of, then, well, you must be in the federal government, or state government, or local. Anyway, so print is going to be a very small piece of your money. Audio is going to be a bigger and bigger piece of your money, but you may not be able to afford to do audio right out the gate. It's going to cost you anywhere base of $100 per finished hour to get audio produced, and that's really, really super cheap. I don't expect to be able to produce audio for anything less than $200 or $250 per finished hour. And per finished hour, that's not per hour in the studio. That is hour of audiobook. 9,000 words is roughly one finished hour. So a 100,000 word book is 11 or 12 finished hours. That's about $3,000. You may not have that. So just assume that you're going to start with ebook and paperback. And your cash, your money is in the ebook. Now here's how the money works. If you want to sell your book on Amazon, and Amazon is where the vast majority of ebooks are sold because they're the ones who built the platform for consuming ebooks, the lowest price you can set your book is 99 cents. You can't set a price for 50 cents. You can't set it for free forever. So you can sell your book for 99 cents at the cheapest. From 99 cents to $2.98, Amazon pays you a 35% royalty. This is not a royalty. It's not. This is a distributor's share. Amazon is not your publisher. They are a distributor of your work, and they are taking a 65% cut of the sale price of the product when you set your price from 99 cents to $2.99. We're going to continue to call it royalty because that's what Amazon calls it in their reporting, and it just makes the words easier. But it's not. So, if I sell an ebook version of Impervious by A.J. Hartley for 99 cents, I get about 35 cents. I do not, for the record, sell this book for 99 cents. It happens to be the book that was within arm's reach on my desk. At $2.99, that royalty rate doubles. So let's do some quick calculations as I go over here to the side of my screen. $2.98 times 0.35. That's $1.04. $2.99 times 0.7, that's $2.09. By increasing the price to $2.99, you more than double your money. Now, the reason that this is the floor is because way back, getting your way back machine to 2009, 2010, Jeff Bezos and his number crunchers at Amazon decided, probably arbitrarily, but also looking around at what mass market paperbacks cost, they decided that $2.99 to $9.99 was the sweet spot for ebook pricing if they wanted to destroy the mass market paperback distribution channel. That's what they were taking aim at, was mass market paper. If you don't know what mass market paperback looks like, let me give you a quick primer on the different types of book. This is a mass market paperback. This is a yellowed, beat to shit copy of Magic's Pawn by Mercedes Lackey, which is one of my favorite books of all time, which I got autographed by her at Dragon Con the first time I met her, and Larry Dixon, her cover artist and husband, and also a wonderful dude, remarked in surprise that there was actually a Mercedes Lackey book out in the wild that she hadn't already autographed. But this is it's the thing we've bought at drugstores, yard sales, airport bookstores. This is mass market. This was never created to be something that some schmuck like me kept on a bookcase for 20 years. This is cheap, pulpy paper that doesn't hold up very well to age. It doesn't survive sunlight very well. It's a thin cover. This is the cheapest version of the book. At the other end of the spectrum is the hardcover. This is Knight Errant by Paul Barrett and Steve Murphy, published by Falstaff Books. I highly recommend it. It's a pew pew zoom zoom, awesome fun space opera. This is a big, thick, heavy book that you can bludgeon the piss out of somebody with. This is the premium edition of a published book. This is not what Amazon was taking pot shots at when they created the $2.99 to $9.99 sweet spot for ebook pricing. These are trade paperbacks. The difference between a trade paperback and a mass market paperback is not just size, because obviously one's bigger, but also quality of construction. Trade paperbacks have typically thicker pages. This is kind of pulpy, but it's still a little bit better paper. Thicker, better paper covers. They're just generally a little nicer piece of material to hold in your hands. So Amazon took aim at this product because this product has morphed over its lifetime into something it was never intended to be. This was intended to replace the pulp dime novels, the penny dreadfuls, the readable, disposable book. But that's not what it became. People buy them and keep them for years. I've had that book. God, I've probably had that book since college, maybe high school. So I've had that book well over 20 years. We're not going to discuss how long it's been since I was in high school or what high school reunion is supposed to take place next year in 2021. And if you know, do not say it in the comments. I will block your ass. So Amazon decided that $2.99 to $9.99 was the sweet spot for ebook pricing. So they said, we will incentivize self-published authors to set their prices here. How will we do that? We'll pay them better. So from $2.99 to $9.99, you get a 70% royalty. That means on a $9.99 ebook, you get $7. On a $2.99 ebook, you get $2.09. On this mass market paperback from Daw that originally sold for $4.99, Mercedes Lackey probably got about 50 cents. That's assuming that she had a better than normal paperback rate and not taking into account she had to pay an agent out of that. But she probably got about 50 cents. Paperbacks don't pay authors very well, but they make up for it in volume. Trade paperback royalty rates are higher and hardcover rates are higher than that. So, self-published authors are incentivized to set their book prices between $2.99 and $9.99. Well, what happens over $9.99? Well, at the $10 mark, the royalty rate goes back down to 35%. So for a $9.99 ebook, you make roughly $7. For a $10 ebook, you make $3.50. This is if you are self-publishing or a small press publishing through Kindle Direct Publishing. These numbers do not apply to Daw, Tor, Hachette, Macmillan, Spectra, Del Rey. Pick an imprint or a publishing company. The big New York publishers work under a different deal. They have a different structure. So occasionally I'll see self-published authors say, these New York publishers are so stupid. They're selling this book for $12 and they'd make more money if they sold it for $10. No, dumbass, they don't play by the same rules you do. Just like the corner gas station that Beauregard owns does not play by the same rules that BP plays by. QT can put your local gas station out of business because they buy shit different. New York publishers buy shit different than small press publishers do. So no, New York is not stupid for setting their ebook prices at $11.99 or $13.99 or whatever. There are whole other reasons I think this is a bad practice, but we can get into that later. Plus, I don't feel like publicly giving the secrets to how New York can fix its ebook business model, because right now it makes me money. The fact that they're bad at selling ebooks is profitable for me. Hey, kitty. My cat's walking around whining. I don't know what he wants. He may come visit. I doubt it. He had to have some dental work done a couple of weeks ago. He's still pissed at me. Anyway, there's also a program that many of you are familiar with called Kindle Unlimited. And I get a lot of questions from readers about Kindle Unlimited. And do authors get paid with Kindle Unlimited? The answer is yes. Then people sometimes will say, well, what makes you the most money? My general response is, you buying a book in any legal fashion makes me far more money than you not buying a book, so do whatever's convenient to you. And I'm going to say that pretty much forever. So do what is convenient to you as long as it is legal. That means if a book's in Kindle Unlimited, read it in Kindle Unlimited. If you want to buy the ebook, buy the ebook. If your library offers ebook lending, borrow it from the library. Authors still get paid on library lending. But let's back up and go to Kindle Unlimited. The way authors get paid on Kindle Unlimited is through a page read formula. Amazon takes a look at a book and comes up with how many normalized pages are in a book, because there are different sizes of e-readers, there are different typefaces, there are people like me who are old and blind and thus have to blow up the type so a book has more pages. So in print, this book has 194 pages. It does not have 194 Kindle estimated normalized page. The number is called a KENP, and I'm damned if I can remember what it's called. Hold on, and I'll go look up how many pages it has that way. I couldn't actually look it up for Impervious because you can only look up the KENPC number for books that are in Kindle Unlimited, and Impervious is not. Inflection Point, the most recent Quincy Harker novel, is in Kindle Unlimited. This book has 263 print pages. It has a KENPC number of 412 pages. Kindle edition normalized page count. So it assumes that to read all of this book, you'll swipe your screen of your Kindle 412 times. Each of those page swipes pays the author about 4/10 of a cent. Yeah, that doesn't sound like very much, does it? But let's look at the money. All right, 412 pages times 0.004. $1.65. Okay, this book sells for, God, what does that book sell for? I don't remember. I really don't. Hang on. Inflection. Helps if you spell inflection right. Okay, this book sells for $7.99 on ebook. Strangely enough, that's very close to what a mass market paperback typically sells for. $5.59. So yeah, I get paid a lot more if you buy the ebook than if you read it through Kindle Unlimited. I get paid about 3 times as much. 3.5. But more people will read the book on Kindle Unlimited that may not have paid $8 for an ebook of a mid-list fantasy author. So it's a balancing act. But yes, authors do get paid when you read a book through Kindle Unlimited. And there's usually at least a 30-day free trial going on Kindle Unlimited, so you can sign up and read a boatload of books for 30 days and then cancel. I don't really recommend doing that. I have Kindle Unlimited. I use it to check out authors I'm unfamiliar with. It's $10 a month, so I figure if I read 2 books every month by an author I wouldn't have ordinarily bought, then it's worth it to me. Plus, it's tax deductible for me because this is kind of what I do. Now, libraries. Yes, authors also get paid when you check out their ebooks from libraries. Some libraries and some licenses, the library pays every time the ebook is checked out. They pay a little bit. I don't really know how all that works. What we do when we have books that are available digitally to libraries is we set the price higher. Libraries pay more for the books on the shelf than your bookstore does. They always do. That's because more people are going to read them, and that's how publishers keep from thinking that libraries cost them money, because we charge them more. You assume that a book is going to be read 10 or 20 times. You do not charge 10 or 20 times the price. For us, when we're setting ebook prices to libraries, it's 2 to 3 times what the ebook price is for a normal consumer. And then when you check out a book from your library, the library's already paid us. We've paid the author. You're doing this guilt-free. The author is getting paid. Now, sometimes people will ask me, what is the way that the author makes the most money? Well, the way the author makes the most money is if the most people consume their books. So buy a shit ton of books. If you meet an author face-to-face at a convention, or you buy a copy of the book off that author's website and they mail it to you, that is probably the way the author gets the biggest chunk of money off that book. And not only do you get a personal interaction with the author, but the author gets the money right away. If you special order a book from a bookstore, or you walk into a bookstore and pick up the book, the author gets anywhere from 8 to 15% of cover price, depending on the format and that author's negotiating power with their publisher. If you buy the ebook or the audio, then the author gets anywhere from 15 to 35% of what you're paying, roughly. The way we work is we do 50% of gross receipts on digital media. So if you buy an ebook from Falstaff Books for $2.99, we get $2.09. $1.05 goes to the author, $1.04 goes to Falstaff. Hopefully they've done more than one book in a quarter, and then we don't have to quibble about who's getting the upside in the half-cent wars, because math is hard. There's also things called digital delivery fees, which cut into that money a little bit, and that crap is figured out by sacrificing a goat under a new moon or something. I have no idea what formula they use to come up with that. It's Mountain Dew, piss off. So the way the author gets the least amount of money is you buying a book in a bookstore. That doesn't mean that the author isn't thrilled that you bought the book in a bookstore. Actually, that's not true. The way the author gets the least amount of money is you buying it at a used bookstore, you buying it remaindered. If you've bought books that have a black line down the spine, that means that those books didn't sell in the 90 days that the bookstore had them to sell them, and they got sent back to the publisher, and then they got bargain basemented out. Those books on the front at the bookstore that are like giant hardcovers for $3.99, the author isn't getting that $3.99. If they're getting anything out of it, it's a tiny, tiny piece of it. So if you buy it used, or you buy it remaindered, or you buy it at a yard sale, then the author is getting either next to no money or no money. If you pirate a book, then you're a thief and you should go fuck yourself. If you buy it at a bookstore, the author gets a little bit of money and they're happy to get it. If you buy it in ebook from any of the online distributors, the author gets a slightly greater percentage of a smaller overall price, so they're grateful to get it. If you buy it from the publisher's website, it's the same as buying it from a bookstore. If you buy it from the author at a book signing, you're buying it from a bookstore. If you buy it from an author at a convention at a dealer's table, that probably makes the author the most money, but they've also laid out a ton of cash to get there, so they will be just as happy for you to walk up with your copy of their book that you bought at a used bookstore, not a used bookstore, I did buy this new, that you bought at, I think I bought this at a drugstore, probably Neely Drug on Main Street in York, that you bought at a drugstore 20 years ago. They will be thrilled to autograph it. Hell, we'll be happy to buy it. We'll be happy to sign it if you bought it at a used bookstore. I actually think it's hilarious when friends of mine send me digital pictures of my books at used bookstores. I feel like it's a mark of pride. I'm like, hey, I made it. Somebody bought my book and now it's gone again. It's moved on to another home. Also, friends of mine that work in used bookstores have standing orders to buy any copy they see, because I think it's funny, especially since I autograph a lot of books. So then I can see who sold them off, and that's really funny. So no matter how you buy the book, the author will be thrilled. But yes, if any way you are consuming the book through any retailer, Amazon, Kobo, Barnes & Noble, Scribd, I don't know how you pronounce their company name, Audible, any of the Apple iBooks, Apple audiobooks, however you are consuming it, that you are paying for it legally, you are giving money to the author. And especially right now when there are no conventions, it's important to do that. So get out there and buy a book. I have 150 or 200 recommendations that you can peruse at falstaffbooks.com. Also, if you want your own Misfit t-shirt, you can go to tpublic.com/falstaffbooks and get your Misfit t-shirt. That's it for today. That was a lot of different pieces and a lot of different stuff. And now I've got to go outline Harker 7. 7. So where are we? Yeah, 7. All right. Bye. I'll be back on Wednesday with another edition of Storytellers. This one talking about J.D. Blackrose and her missing penis.